right, so we're gonna get started with our one match review for the evening. This match review comes to us from RJSEVEN with 1,500 hours in Dead by Daylight, but it's only just started with Killer only having 500 hours. Keep in mind, I usually don't expect people to have their fundamentals down pat till around 1K. I know that you could probably play the game to a well extent before that, but I'm talking your fundamentals, being able to have relatively quick chases consistently, be able to patrol and macro play the map consistently. That's what I'm talking about when I say you need to have roughly 1,000 to play consistently. Keyword consistently. Consistently. Okay. What do you think, Will? Consistently? He doesn't think at all. That's the problem. I have the brain cell right now, son. So you are at the point where realistically you understand most things about DBD, but not as much about the specific role you were on. So you have the leg up on other people that would be in your same hour count trying to play a new role, but still not quite at that point where you have all your fundamentals down pat. So that's perfectly fine. You are playing the Deathslinger, which is a very, very firm B tier killer. Kind of like suffers in the macro play, but has a very, very excellent chase game that makes them really, really excellent. So the Deathslinger. Yeah, so not a bad pick of character there. You just have to be more mindful about your macro game. You're on Gas Heaven, though, which is a pretty survivor-sided map. The Auto-Haven realm in general has been stronger than it's been before because it used to be a fairly balanced realm, and then they added a bunch of edge pallets to the map, which means that it's very hard for survivors to run out of pallets. Not a whole lot of dead zones. Gas Heaven itself is pretty rough because it's a kind of a bigger map, has a really strong main building. So unless you're somebody like Blight Nurse, somebody who can handle that main building's always going to be pain for you. So let's take a look at the add-ons, Angie Poikes. So in terms of your add-ons, you're running the Warden's Keys, which reduces your reload time by 0.35 seconds. Excellent choice. You're running the Iridescent Coin, which is survivors suffer from the exposed stats effect if they are shot further than 12 meters by the harpoon. These are fine add-on choices. Do keep in mind the Iridescent Coin is more of a playstyle adjustment, so you'll have to go for specific shots and maybe miss a lot. It's something that gets better as you get more accustomed to using it often. But it may be a little bit of a hard adjustment period initially, but it is a very, very good add-on. Other add-ons you can run are the Modified Ammo Belt, which is another class of the reload add-on, being the lowest rarity. This reduces your reload time by 0.25 seconds. There's a lot of people that really, really like Tin Oil Can, which reduces the cooldown time of missed shots by 0.5 seconds. I'm personally not a fan of that add-on because I think it encourages you to miss more. And not feel the effects of that. I think feeling the full effects of your miss helps you learn and understand the game better. So I don't like add-ons that are similar to that. Another great suggestion I have is the Bayshore Cigar, which reduces the stun duration when survivors break free from the Redeemer by 0.75 seconds. So if you get a survivor that you hit and reel and you can't quite get them, that stun basically lasts no time at all, so you get right back into the chase. Also, you can kind of go for more ambitious shots where you can harpoon a character or a survivor that you see far away with no intention of committing to the full chase with them because your stun is not that bad when you just break the chain and let them go away. So you can split pressure a little bit better with that add-on. So there's a lot of benefits to the Bayshore Cigar. I love that on computer all day. Once again, it's weird that they did say Chaos Shuffle game, so I can't really critique your build. Your build's great, though. Chaos Shuffle was very kind to you, aside from Predator. The other three were excellent. But I can't really comment too much on the choice of perks because you didn't choose them. So, yeah. Also, I want to say something before we get started with this match review, is that typically when it comes to these match reviews, I don't allow a DC in like the first gen or two, because if you win or lose based off of somebody giving up, it doesn't give me good information about like how to help you and give you advice, because certain things may happen solely because of the DC and there's nothing you can really do about somebody just randomly quitting the game. There's no advice I can give there. That does happen this game. But because I made an error and reviewed the wrong game last week, remember this is RJ is the individual last week that submitted a compilation of matches and I was really confused which one. They wanted the Deathslinger one. So we're going to be doing that now. But as a result of the fact that I, reviewed the wrong match, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm just going to ignore that. But in general, make sure you're not having people give up right away because that makes it hard to review and give advice.
Not horrible. Not super great either. They're starting on that side of the map. one could be starting over here. Yeah, one started over here.
They find somebody working on a gen fairly early. They're behind that rock.
Hi, gamer.
This is the one I saw that ended up DCing. They're just upset they got caught first. Languid is helping here, canceling any exhaustion they could potentially have. That's good. Very quick early down. Nice shot, excellent. Maybe it's because you're slugging. They got upset. Good catch on that, especially on controller. Yeah, there's definitely no reason not to slug here. Yeah, I would just rotate him around, get the shot. You could have got that. You could also got that there. You could shoot over the truck here on every side. Obviously it isn't the cab. That's one of the benefits of Deathslinger is like 9 times out of 10 you can just like clock somebody like before they reach a resource, so you don't have to deal with it. Yeah, you could have definitely had that. You didn't need to leave that chase.
Nice. He's mending. Nope. Nice. Ooh, hi.
I don't mind you getting a painters first. Makes sense. Just take the hit. There you go. But say they're not gonna wiggle, so just get your painters, get the free injury.
Are we gaming out here?
Yeah, he went towards the tile. Yeah. I just go to the person you know. If you look at the scratch marks there, it goes towards the tile, but then he breaks off.
Where'd he go? He went that way? Oh.
See, if you look at the scratch marks, they hit this wall here, but then they keep going this way to the right. But you don't clock that they're going to the right.
Okay. Alright.
You just waste a little bit of time here.
Ain't no way you coming back here, bro.
Because I thought that would be distracting. Losers bracket, to be clear. Not just I'm watching the losers.
Jesus.
What a weird reason to DC.
Ain't no way you're over here doing this shit. Get your shit out of here, bro.
Yeah, put it in the toilet.
Don't be here.
Not here. How does this go poorly for you? You have so much pressure early on.
Let's go and break this.
I don't see how this goes. How this would go wrong for you.
Surveillance is over here.
So, a little bit in the menu. Yep, surveillance is a pretty good perk. You typically have to run it with like at least 2 slowdowns to get it going though, which is like kind of costly, but realistically you should be running at least 2 slowdowns anyways. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I think a lot of people sleep on surveillance. I just think that
Oh.
yeah, I think you should add that. I don't think you missed that. I think you got robbed. That's a good mind game to try to catch up. You just saw it coming. You don't typically want to aim super long down sights with Deathslinger's harpoon like this, because the longer you aim down sights, the more time it gives the survivors to react to what you're doing. You kind of want to be a little bit more quick and snappy when you're going for a shot. If you're just wanting to zone them, yeah, just do this. Just aim down sights, and it'll like force them into a bad situation. But if you actually want to get the shot, you don't want to be holding it up that long. Also, there is an audio cue when you are directly ADS'd by the Deathslinger. I've been told with mixed results that sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I've never not had it, but every time I bring that up, there's always a legion of fans of Deathslinger. They're like, well, that just doesn't work. And it's like, it's always worked for me, so I don't know. But, yeah. Case in point, ADSing for a really long time makes it harder for you to hit the shot, so try to cut down on that if you can. You do end up getting the shot though, thankfully, because you kind of zone him a bit, but
Thank you.
You could have had it earlier.
Ooh, boil over, nice. Good pop.
I mean, you can say that over, but you can't see the hitbox. You know that is how the hitbox works, but you can't confirm that that's the reason why. In the same vein, there's on certain pings on certain servers, like there's a lot of times that would hit, so you can't confirmably say, oh, well, that's just 100% the reason it happened. Yeah, I don't know what the deal with it is. I'm in a weird situation where I've never not heard it, so I'm not sure what the deal with that is.
Go back here and kick this too.
You're kind of just like wandering around kicking gens right now. It's just not gonna help you in the long run.
Woo.
Should probably get into a chase as soon as possible.
I don't have any map pressure here at all. That's not going. This one is though.
Okay. You'd see a crow fly up there. Just like in that other match you did that ended up being the wrong one. Be careful about dry kicking generators. You only do 5% to a gen when you dry kick a generator. This could be very easily undone by the survivors, especially if there's somebody else just like hanging around, just waiting to hop back on the gen, other than the guy that you're probably about to chase. So basically only dry kick generators if you're under the assumption that nobody's going to be around to undo that progress in a long period of time.
Here.
It would save more time just by like getting into the chase, downing them, and maybe going for the kick afterwards on convenience. You know they're on that back gen over there now. It's good to be patient there. It is the bot. So bots like to very much matrix dodge projectiles for whatever reason. Very minor efficiency thing that'll help you if you plan to stick with Slinger for a while is it's usually better to reload after hook than it is like while they're on the ground. The reason this is because there's anybody hanging out with like a flashbang or a flashlight or wanting to go sabo. By stopping and reloading, you're essentially giving those people time to get into position. Whereas if you just reload after the hook, you don't have to worry about that. So just a minor efficiency thing.
Not super smart of me to pick here, but it's okay.
Hey Zachary Backery. It's good to see you, Fred. Usually only see you over in Brock's stream. How you been?
That's shadow stuff. That has to be shadow stuff.
Yeah, so you knew from surveillance they were back here. You saw them show themselves for a second. You get that. Yeah, unless you have really, if you have like 20 ping, you don't have that, but you do. Yeah.
Nice. Get the bot out of here real quick.
One of my funniest Chaos Shuffle memories is one of the times that I reported somebody that I thought was like subtle hacking or soft hacking. Because on Chaos Shuffle, they just had a full metal build. Like, they did not get a bad build at all. Like, not even one bad perk. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Yeah. That wasn't my only hint. There was like, you seem subtly faster. The gen seemed kind of fast, but like, I was like, huh, that's weird. You just have full meta and Chaos Shuffle? Yeah, he's still at the loop, but you kind of just like, you kind of confuse yourself by like just spinning around and like kind of like almost panicking. It's almost like you panicked yourself out of knowing where he was. Like he was right in front of you at the same loop, but you got anxious about not seeing him directly in front of you and kind of made it worse by flicking your camera on very erratically. I think in situations like that, it's helpful to just like stop, look down, see if you see blood trails like the one you see down here at the bottom left here. Look for your scratch marks, see where they realistically are going instead of like trying to like do like these really like erratic sweeping pans to see where they could have gone. Just try to use the evidence that you have right in front of you instead. I have been well. Hopefully work's been fun and not like bad busy, like unfun busy.
He's right here.
This is the bot. Don't try to mind up the bot. The bot will just like move to your specifications.
I tried to get the ankle.
It'll just react to you. So you're not gonna like mind game a bot really.
Let's go.
See, there you go. You should have done this earlier on that first chase you had to this car.
Get the bot going. Here, please. Get the bot out.
You still have two Pinrose hooks out there too. Yeah, I death the 3 gens. Interesting how I want to see how this goes wrong. We're still in a fine position. He's hiding behind that. Once again, you gotta stop dry kicking gens. You had a free hit. You had a free hit on that guy that was crouched behind the gen. You had a free hit on him. You could have just swung and hit him. But because you were so obsessed with like, I gotta stop, I gotta dry kick, I gotta stop, I gotta dry kick, he's getting a head start in this chase now. Which is gonna hurt you more overall. Yeah, because now he makes this pallet. Now you can't get the shot. Like, see? Where, you know, if we were in the same situation and you just hit him early, he's already down here, right? That's why I make that advice.
I affected him to dodge.
Because you save more time just getting the chase down quicker and then coming back to kick if you really want to. Nice shot. Then vice versa.
Pop this real quick.
They're already back on that gen. You can see that on surveillance.
Yeah, I knew that was going to cost me the gen. See where he's running. He's running in through. Let's go here.
If you were a little bit more patient, you would have that. I know a lot of people are like kind of crashing out about Go right now. Do you still feel fine to you?
Oh, son of a bitch. Come on.
You had that. About normal? Interesting.
Let him go.
I know a lot of people are pretty upset with the changes today.
Where are my other gens? It's that one. That's the one.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is just kind of like an addition of like missed shots over and over and some minor like stuff. I think you could probably benefit from having more of your pain res hooks out, but yeah, aiming down sights for that long just gives them way more time to react. You're finding out the hard way. They get nerfed again. No, they fixed some bugs with him that people have gotten used to. So people are just kind of flatly calling it a nerf. And apparently one of the bugs that they fixed didn't even work, like actually fix it, quote unquote. So I don't know. Yeah, honestly, I would just stay by this hook. Force trades. You don't really gain anything by going all the way out here. Yeah, you're not going to be able to stop him. So going all the way out here, all that's allowing them to do is slide in and save Dwight.
He leaves.
Off of hook.
He gets off.
Yeah. But that's because you didn't guard that. So that's your fault, unfortunately. Yeah, you ADSing this long is why he's dodging and bobbing and weaving so much. You still get that, thankfully, but like, that's why this shot was difficult. Yeah. Because you're literally giving him all the information in the world to dodge you. You're giving him so much time. Yeah, he probably makes it out of there. He's at so much distance. Even with your harpoon.
Smart play.
Yeah, I'd just stay nearby this time. Don't give him the chance to go on hook.
He's here, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right here.
Is he though? Yeah, I'm about to say, this is how that guy got off hook last time.
Go for the save.
Is that you
think he
didn't
does.
stick near the hook?
I don't think he can.
Okay. Thankfully that doesn't end up working out, but that was very scary. Oh my gosh. Nice. Nice.
What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up?
Well, we're gonna be doing open lobbies tomorrow, Francis.
On today's episode, you just should have fucking left.
Because we're gonna just be doing customs instead. Okay, I don't know what they got. So in terms of your main takeaways, this actually wasn't too terrible of a game. You played fairly well, but I think there's just some efficiency stuff that really hurts you in the long run. First off, Deathslinger specific things. Your Deathslinger specific first main takeaway is that when you ADS, or when you aim down sights for really long periods of time, it gives survivors a lot of opportunities to plan how they're going to dodge your harpoon. That's why you notice, like, the longer that you ADS, the longer that you aim down sights, it seemed like the more like difficult it was to hit your shots, because you're giving the survivor more time and information on how to dodge you. So if you want to hit more of your harpoons more often, you got to be a little bit more snappy with that. Stop giving them all this time and information to dodge you. I think you would see that you get a lot more shots that way. Your second main takeaway is please stop dry kicking generators. Dry kick, compared to, like, you know, an effective kick or something like that, is just dry kicking a gen with no perks or anything. Like no pop, no eruption, no anything like that. Just kicking a gen just for the 5%. This ultimately, it really isn't that effective of a tactic to use, especially if there are other survivors nearby, which was the case you had, especially with that gen up at the top left near the main building. Is like you stopped to kick the gen, which means you started your chase fairly late, and then somebody would just end up rotating back and getting right back on the gen, basically making it to where you basically didn't do that at all, when you could have just saved more time by immediately getting into chase and then coming back to kick that later after the fact. So unless you have something like a pop or an eruption, only kick a generator without those kind of perks if you are under the assumption that nobody's going to be coming back onto that gen for quite a while. Third takeaway, in the end game, there's no reason to just like not stick right by the hook. You had a very, very rough situation where you could have just stayed by the delight that you had hooked on the hook there at the end game, but you went kind of wandering off to one of the exit gates to maybe potentially try to force them off an exit gate, and because of that, the other survivors slid in and unhooked him, which led to a very scrambly situation, which thankfully ended up working out for you, but definitely couldn't have. It definitely could have gone very, very wrong. So in the end game, we have somebody hooked like that. You have no other objectives. Just stick by the hook, force trades through altruism, and try to snowball off of that. Don't go for big risks like that, because that could definitely not pay off like it did here. So yeah, I think those would be the main three I would focus on.